It's time now for business, and Asian markets were lifted by hopes that Donald Trump's planned tariffs won't be as painful as feared, though uncertainty still remains. We can go to Jameel Ahmad from GTC, who will take us through the numbers. Good morning, Jameel. Can you just start by telling us how the markets are reacting today?
Optimistic. That's because some of this ongoing theatre when it comes to will the tariffs be imposed, are they going to be as bad as what they were feared to be? Will Trump really impose the tariffs overall? Some of those questions are still continuing, and it seems to be less of a dramatic episode than people were worried about just a couple of weeks ago, where we had the steepest falls in financial markets for a number of months, the weakest falls in the US currency for a number of years. But this episode is part of a long-going series about whether these tariffs are actually going to happen or not. And we still have 1 week until the deadline, which is early April. Let's see what happens with the next episodes, because at the moment, investors are just taking every headline as they come in.
Now, less cause for optimism is the headline this morning that US consumer confidence has reached a 12-year low.
There's a number of different headlines on consumer confidence. Some are saying it's a 12-year low. Some readings suggest there's a 1 to 4 year low. But overall, this is concerning because the US consumer accounts for the largest component of US GDP, which means that basically if the consumer's not feeling very confident, it's a matter of time before the US economic momentum starts to slim down as well. And we've already seen over the past couple of weeks some of those pessimistic US recession forecasts. The probabilities are getting higher and higher by the week, mostly based on tariffs. But this is an indication of consumers being concerned about what's happening in the atmosphere when it comes to uncertainty. Let's see if these tariffs really get imposed or if they're going to be as bad as what they're threatened to be. But there are some warning signs for the US economy that are starting to come through from the consumer now.
And what else should investors be watching out for this week?
Well, later today, we're going to be paying a lot of attention to the UK economy. That's because we've got a couple of different UK economic indicators coming out, but we're also expecting to have the spring statement from the new UK government, where there are some concerns that the UK government's actually going to up to half the GDP forecast from just 1 year or so ago, which suggests that even the UK economic momentum is slowing down. And when we talk about the tariffs, the UK is not actually in the firing line as much as the European Union or China or Canada or Mexico when it comes to the tariffs, but to see so many different economic forecasts pointing towards lower GDPs for our various economies, it shows that everybody's impacted by this uncertainty.
Thank you very much for that, Jameel Ahmad of